I concluded it at my daughter's track meet. I was sitting there in the stands waiting for her turn. I think she was about to run the relay. And while they were waiting, I was able to be on the phone and put some final touches on a deal that were able to happen as if I was in the office. It was like no difference. And being able to have that mobility, as you know, is something that I absolutely treasure because I want to spend time with my family. I don't want to be tied. I don't want to have to live in a certain area just because that's where my business is.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty amazing. I often wonder, what did I do before I had a cell phone? How did I even communicate with people? And it's just technology has just come so far, and these things they become staples, and we forgot how we operated before. And now you're closing deals at your daughter's track meet. That's awesome. So, what would you say of all the gadgets that you've got, or maybe there's a service that you're using? What service or technology is making the biggest difference for you right now?
Service or technology. One of the things that I've grown to appreciate a whole lot and is the simple service of Google Voice. I don't know if that's something, many of your listeners are familiar with, but it's given me a lot of control because it's easy to lose control over your phone because many people want to talk to you. Many people, you're trying to do business and you can't always direct the calls you need to, or they ring at inconvenient times, and you get tons of incoming messages, or you ever have your voicemail box get full. It's just like, now what am I going to do? And one of the things that the service has allowed me to do is be able to manage that better. Like I can set certain times and certain phone numbers go straight to voicemail. Certain people can go straight to my assistant. Certain people always come through, like family, like you, come straight through no matter what. Those things. And even better is that a lot of my text messages can be managed either from any internet web browser, which is great. And the iPad has a web browser. The phone has a web browser. And any computer, and it all looks like it comes from the same phone number. So being able to use all those things, people don't know physically where I am. Looks like the same number to them, but I could easily be on your computer right now sending them text messages. And in fact, it's become a major way of how I do a lot of business. I think at my last time I looked, I'm somewhere near 4,000 text messages on a monthly basis, and that gets a lot of business done for me. It's been very, very effective and efficient, and like most of all, the best part, it doesn't cost a dime.
Wow, it's a free service. I know you were an advocate of this early on, and you had really tried to encourage me to get to use it, and I resisted, and perhaps I need to take another look.
That's okay. You can do over on that one too. It's all good. Everybody's different, so.
Got it. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll make reference to that in the show notes so people can go and check that out and see if it works for them. Obviously, it's working wonders for you.
Right.
One of the focal points of a do-over, or how I coach people through their do-overs, is to really pay attention to their environment. And most specifically within that environment, the people that they associate with or they surround themselves with. What would you say is the most important character trait of the people you surround yourself with?
Wow. You just hit on a couple of really big points in like half a second right there, because environment is like in and of itself is its own animal, and then you talk about the characteristics of the people within it. And the one thing that I believe must happen, and it's a term that I learned from Tim Ferriss in his book, I believe it was a 4-Hour Work Week. It talked about a term called eustress, not distress. The opposite of distress is eustress. EU stress. And inside of that environment must come eustress. Simply put, you got to be surrounded by people who are doing exactly or moving forward or increasing in some way to where being around them is weird to not be increasing yourself. Kind of like the exact opposite of when you're maybe at a party and you're the one guy who doesn't drink and all your friends are drinking and they go, hey, you need to drink, and you're like, I don't want to. That's a distress type of situation. Whereas if you go on the other side of that, where you have a whole bunch of people who are, say, in my case, learning about real estate investing and going after making that happen and actually, doing deals and all these things to where it gets weird, where you're like the only one who's not done a real estate deal. You suddenly like, okay, I've got to figure out how to do a real estate deal and get one done just to feel like I still belong to this group. And being around individuals who are determined and, the keywords here, committed to absolutely getting a positive result out of whatever it is they're learning, regardless of the obstacles. Those are the things that must happen, because, we all have those bad days during our do-over where we just want to quit doing over and just be done, So we need those individuals who are going to be there and say, you know what, that exact same thing happened to me the first time I tried that. And now, I kept going, I kept pushing, and I made it happen. And this is, what I did. And then you pick yourself up and you keep going because they did it. They're credible examples that are, just that are right around you, that you can touch and that you can see, and that can hold you up when you feel like less than low. And I needed a whole lot of that. I mean, I'm coming, many people say they're starting at zero. If I was starting at zero, that would have been ahead, for where I was coming from.
Right.
But that's not where it was. So I needed a whole lot of the right individuals. Individuals like the people that listen to, this particular show, because they're looking for something. They're looking to start something over and get a better result this time. And they've got to find other people exactly like that. The people that listen to the show, people on your website, the people on your blog, those are the individuals that everyone needs to be hanging around with, because they're about doing something positive.
Right. Absolutely. I was really looking forward to seeing what your answer was going to be to that question, and you just hit it right on the head. It's so important who you surround yourself with. How has your definition of success changed now that you're experiencing a whole new level of success?
Well, it changes, but yet it stays the same, in the sense that before I could easily attribute a certain number or a certain income level or a certain, something towards success. One very important lesson I learned way during the beginning is something called the success cycle, and I believe you talk about it in your book. And it's so important that if people haven't read that, they just need to stop listening to the show right now, go buy the book, read it, download it, and go straight to this point. Is the success cycle. If you don't understand what that is, you're doing your do-over a disservice. And that one little piece of information will keep you focused and on the right track, because we can make success difficult. And very simply, for me, it could be for many of us, this is how I started. I would say, okay, I would, when I'm earning $15,000 on a monthly basis, then I'm successful. Well, that's great. That would be a great goal. But if I'm only earning $14,950 on a monthly basis, by definition, by what I've declared, it means I'm not successful, which is not true, not true at all. And we make success, and it's a game, and we make it so challenging for ourselves to succeed. So I started playing the game with myself, and I would make myself successful for waking up, for getting to the office, for standing, for brushing my teeth, for smiling, for looking people in the eye, and all these simple things that helped me feel better about myself. Because at the end of the day, if you don't feel good in that way, if you don't begin to feel confident and feel like you're moving in a positive direction and all your goals are out of reach, you're not going to put the passion and the energy into necessarily achieving those goals, and you need to feel successful. So make the game easy. So, today I define success simply as a man is successful any and every day that he gets to do what he chooses. Mm-hmm. Period. If he's done that, he's successful. It doesn't matter what that is. It has nothing to do with an income anymore. It has everything to do more with lifestyle design than anything. And if you got to do today what you chose to do today and what you wanted to do today, then you're successful.
As long as you're getting out of bed because you want to as opposed to having to, you're probably leading a really successful life, at least how you seem to have defined it, and I agree with your definition. Speaking of getting out of bed because you want to, Jay, what gets you out of bed in the morning?